Okay, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to my channel. This is You Too Can Be Great. Okay, it's been a while since I've talked to you guys. I haven't done reviews, and some of you guys is wondering why I went MIA. I have a baby to take care of, and I have a full-time job. So I know some of you guys told me to just keep waiting until it's time for me to do reviews, but I'm behind, way behind. I'm not gonna catch up, but I am gonna do Growing Up Hip Hop, and I'm gonna go ahead and watch the Love and Hip Hop Family Reunion Season 2 most recent episode later on today, and I'm gonna do that review. And then I'm gonna do Salt Lake City tomorrow, the one that's doing tonight. I think the finale is doing tonight before the reunion gets here. And from what we have seen, I don't know why you guys are slipping on Salt Lake City. The drama is real. Okay, so this Growing Up Hip Hop Season 603, Episode 6, Thugs and Matrimony is the episode that we're reviewing. And of course, I've missed a few episodes, but the general gist of what I'm getting is that, you know, Tahiri and Sean are having a lot of issues with planning their wedding. Their wedding is supposed to cost $150,000. I don't know why her wedding is costing a whole house, okay, a whole condo. But Sean is a little bit concerned about that. In addition to him having to pay the $30,000 for the wedding ring, on top of that, they had the whole last episode where they threw them a bachelor and a bachelorette party, and they had scrippers come in, and Sean was in the corner hiding because he didn't want to get in trouble with Tahiri, since Tahiri is the person who dominates the relationship and has him on check, especially after the accusation of him allegedly cheating on her. He is not trying to get himself in some hot water with that girl. So we started off with that, and her talking to him about the wedding, and also him saying that, you know, whenever I assert myself in helping with things, you don't want me to because you want to control everything. And she went on the confessional and said she loves my bossiness because he wouldn't even get a haircut if I didn't schedule it. I said, well, dang, Sean, do you have any choices in your relationship, Sean? I guess not. Then we move on to Jojo and Tanice. Tanice just had a beautiful baby boy. However, Jojo is now homesick with a cold. He took a COVID test. Thank God it wasn't COVID. However, he's feeling some type of way. Jojo's behavior is giving me the whole, my wife got pregnant, she had a baby. Now that the baby's here and the boy is here and I'm a male, I don't feel like she's giving me as much attention anymore, so I'm jealous. So what Jojo is doing is he's negating the fact that the whole baby just came out of his wife. She's probably going through postpartum like she did with their daughter. So she's trying to get herself together. In addition to that, there's a little bit of a body discomfort that happens when you have a baby. I felt that. I still feel it. I've stretch marks in places that I don't think they should even be there. I've stretch marks on my arms. I'm over here lifting weight, praying today that it's going to go ahead and disappear. I have this little flabby, watery, like type residual extra skin that I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of without going under the knife. So I can feel what Tanice is feeling, because she doesn't have time to be focusing on Jojo's needs. It's not like you're the one that's sitting up here breastfeeding or feeding this baby or changing the diapers. You get to sleep and still work. But Jojo is complaining because he wants her to cater to him now that he has a cold. And she's like, I'm tired. He's like, well, can you just leave the baby here for a few minutes after he goes to sleep and then go to the store and get me cold medicine? Or can you take the baby with you to get me some cold medicine while I'm lying on this couch? It's a cold, bruh. You're not dying. Get your little behind up and go get yourself some cold medicine. But Tanice is like, all right, hold on, give me a minute. And it wasn't enough for him. He got up and got to go get it himself. And she's looking at him like, what is the big deal? Why are you getting so mad at me? Ultimately, it's because Jojo feels neglected. And I think he feels low-key jealous. That tends to happen. Some men feel like when the baby comes, the woman doesn't pay attention to him anymore. But when the baby comes, the first few months of the baby, we don't need to pay attention to you. We're tired. I'm just saying. Now, he mentions that he wanted to go on a triple date. Triple date would include Boogie and his new boo, Eazy-E and his wife, and it would be her and him, and they're supposed to be going on a date, on a triple little date. She's also wondering how she can dress up for a date, having this extra baby weight that she just still has to lose. She's not feeling sexy enough to go on a date, and Jojo is not comprehending that. In his mind, he's like, well, I'm telling you all the things you need to hear. Boy, are you deaf? She needs to lose the baby weight. Anyway, we get to the next scene, Egypt and Sam in the studio. And of course, whenever Sam and Egypt are in the studio, Sam plays one of his songs. And this time he plays something called Son of Assad. All I heard was Son of Assad, da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay, Sam's music that I looked online that has maybe like 1 or 2 Spotify or iTunes views. I'm listening to it. It sounds like he has some talent, but I don't know. Sam irks me. Sam has always irked me. And if y'all watch my previous reviews, you know that I'm not Team Sam. Because it seems like with Egypt's career has the potential to really be good. Egypt is talented. She can sing. She comes from two OGs who have good careers, and she stands to make something of herself, and she's so young. With Sam, it just seems like he keeps doing stupid stuff to get himself into more trouble, and he sinks Egypt's reputation in the process. So whenever he's sitting up here on this damn TV playing Son of Assad, I don't want to hear that shit. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, you're getting on my nerves with your high bright self. You're getting on my nerves. Your high yellow. His face pisses me off before he opens his mouth to speak. But he's in the studio, and Eazy-E and Boogie are there listening to the song and also trying to basically check on him. Boogie's out of hibernation. He didn't bring his boo in this scene, but he's there and he's trying to basically touch base. Eazy and his messy nosy ass decides to ask Sam about his legal issues. And what I'm getting, correct me if I'm wrong, Samantha's vibe here, aside from Samantha-ish, his vibe there is that he's basically glorifying the 4 felonies he's being charged with. It's almost seems like whenever he's talking about it, I get this sense of pride, like he's telling the story like he was some victim, and he had to basically protect the street cred. He had to check himself. He had to make sure you check this man. Almost like what you see those thug rappers who want to like use their music to parade about all the things that they've done that makes them earn their street stripes. They're proud of that crap. And when Sam is talking, it seems like he's almost glorifying his behavior, like he just earned his street cred because he got 4 felonies he's fighting right now. But with whose money? Egypt's? Who's paying for this lawyer? See, this is why I don't like this fool. But they're talking to Eazy. Eazy's talking to him and questioning him about the issues. And he says, you know what? It's just people online, people looking at it, the situation, see me on TV, questioning my sexuality and stuff like that. So when they saw me on the street, they wanted to do something about it. And they came out with some weapons. So, I just had to handle my business. Huh? Sam, shut up. Shut up. Because I'm looking at Egypt. And I'm hearing you tell this story that sounds like a nice little ghetto fairy tale. And I'm looking at her. This case holds at least 10 years if he's convicted. And this girl is maybe, 23, 24? How old is Egypt? Egypt must be in her early 20s, maybe 21, 22. And she's engaged to you, trying to build a future with you. And every time she looks dumb, it's because of the actions you created. And you're sitting up here facing charges that could keep you away from the girl that swore her life to you, fell in love with you. And you're telling it like it's like, I don't know if he has even any remorse when he speaks. So after they talk about that, Sam goes ahead and brings up Tahiri because, of course, Tahiri is his topic of conversation because that's who he needs to pick a bone with. He brings up Tahiri and Sean's bachelor party. And Eazy Messy ass decides to ask if he got invited to the wedding. And he said no. And then they find out, well, did Egypt get invited to the wedding? Because Tahiri is Egypt's cousin. And Egypt said no. Now, am I shocked that Tahiri didn't invite them to the wedding? No. Do I think that she should invite them to the wedding as a way to maybe take one step forward in the positive direction to mend things? Yes. However, last season, y'all saw that Egypt went and spread a rumor that her aunt and Egypt's mama concocted, Peppa, about Sean cheating on her, and only for us to find out that the timelines didn't even match. And you're doing that with a couple that just had a baby, they're about to get married. Something that could break their relationship it really is something that can hit hard home. Tahiri's not one to forgive something that quickly. You see how she treated Cree. So I don't see her taking the bigger steps. At this point, she don't even mention them. People keep asking her about them, but you can tell that, Egypt is hurt. I do feel like if Tahiri doesn't invite Egypt to her wedding, it will be an issue. And by the way, side C, we have since found out that Egypt and Sam went up to Vegas. While they're in Vegas, decided to have some crap wedding with, I don't know what the hell Egypt was wearing. I'm like, did Sam get convicted? Is that why y'all are having a quick wedding so she can have conjugal visits while he's behind the pen? Like, what is the issue? But I saw Pep and her father sitting up there supporting that dumb stuff. She looked Egypt can do so much better. Sam pisses me off. He irks my soul. Why'd you pick him? Now we have number 4, scene 4. We got Egypt talking to Boogie outside about Sam going away. And Egypt mentions that she would have wanted to have her first child by the age of 27. But if he goes behind bars, that June will be gone unless she's having conjugal visits. Hence the reason they probably got married real quick and had a shotgun, not really a shotgun wedding, but they had a wedding, Vegas style, with probably Elvis marrying them, thinking that they're doing something like Bonnie and Clyde. Let Sam tell it. So Egypt is now trying to hold her. You can see the pain in her. You can see the pain in her because Boogie's like, if you want to cry, girl, cry. Don't hold all of it in. But you can tell that she's hurt. And a part of what Egypt doesn't show on camera, I bet, is her cussing Sam out for all the stupid decisions he makes. Now we have number 5, scene 5, Tahiri meeting up with her mom to drink and talk about the wedding. And the mom realizes that she still has an iron to pick about their living situation. It turns out that Sean has a business in Jamaica, and that business keeps him gone for like 6 months at a time. And with them getting married and with the whole rumor situation that happened last season, it's best for these two newly married couple to be in the same location, sharing the same bed, doing everything that new couples do. But at the same time, Tahiri and Sean have been together for a long time like this. So Tahiri doesn't see the difference in what might change between them being married or not, because they've been already rocking this relationship with him in Jamaica. She don't want to move to Jamaica. She have her job here. And at best, if she goes to Jamaica, she's only going to be there for 2 months. So why reroute their lives? But I low-key feel like there's something the mom sees about Sean, because she's with Sean in Jamaica as a lawyer in his business. She might feel like Sean has a tendency, or he might actually jump off the cliff and maybe cheat on her if she's not around him as often, so he's accessible. I think Tahiri needs to go ahead and take the hint, wink, wink, because mom is telling her, y'all need to figure this out, because I'm completely against long distance relationships. It does not work. So you need to figure this out before y'all walk down the aisle. Now we have bowling with Sequoia, Egypt, Lazy Bone, and Sam. And they're bowling together. You see Sequoia enjoying Egypt. Egypt is so beautiful. She has a nice physique. I feel like she has a bright future. I just don't want her to have that future with Sam. I mean, hell, she might need to learn the hard way. But they're over there, and Lazy Bone comes in, and the only scene that matters is basically Lazy Bone pulling Sam to the side to give him some, fatherly low-key advice, because Lazy Bone himself had been shot in the head. What is with all these musicians being shot, or some point? You got 50 Cent, who got shot, 52 times, and he's still alive. Then you have all these rappers that are either dead or on their way. You got, what's his name? That just, Kodak, whatever his name is, has just got into a fight in LA that just allegedly got shot, but he's okay. I'm like, is this a thing that y'all are proud to not talk about all these other horrible experiences that y'all have? Is rap music had to be associated with this type of brutality all the time? I mean, seriously. But Lazy Bone is there to give Sam some advice, because Sam is obviously still glorifying his circumstances. And Lazy Bone is, the thing about it is that whenever rappers or hood people, is what they call them, give advice to other young black dudes that are coming up and try to give them some fatherly advice to help them set their life, their advice always has it always leaves you in suspense. They never actually give you details. I'm listening to Lazy Bone giving his advice. It's time to clean that shit up, man. Time to clean it up. You got to make sure you keep your head up and do. I'm like, where is the details in this conversation? He just told you that he has a legal case. Give him instructions on how to find a good lawyer, maybe one that got you off. Okay? Give him instructions on what not to say, or tell him what's appropriate to say. Let him know how to deal with the po-po. I mean, since you already ran in with him, but the advice is always so vague. Okay, you know what, man? Just keep your head up. You know what I'm saying? You just keep your head up. Just make sure that you do what's supposed to do. You got to keep that drink, put that drink down, because it messes with your mind. I'm just like, the advice is always in the form of poetry. It's like they're singing as they're giving you the advice. And I like some Lazy Bone. Lazy Bone, it seems like a really good guy. So far in the show, he's been a good addition to the show. He's an OG as well. He has, his experience in the music industry is, it's from years. I remember listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony when I was in high school and stuff like that. But it's just listening to him give Sam advice, knowing that Sam ain't gonna listen, is a mess. Egypt did talk about the previous season, talking to Boogie about, Egypt was crying, but I remember watching that when I was thinking about that scene. Egypt said something like, if he does end up going to the pen, people see Sam as somebody who is bisexual. She mentioned she didn't mention his sexuality per se, but she insinuated that maybe his sexuality would be a cause for concern if he's behind bars and she don't want him to get taken advantage of. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, Sam, the way that he moves and the situation with the transgender and all that stuff that he didn't have going on, that prison situation might be a buffet for him. So I don't know why you worried, girl, but that's just me being, mean and funny. But I'm just saying, now I'm watching Sam talk to Lazy Bone, and it seems like he takes a different tone. With Lazy Bone, he sounds like he's trying to get advice from a grown person. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But when he's talking to Eazy-E, it's like he's glorifying his situation. I can't tell. So I feel like Sam looks at this as a way that he's going to get a street cred, and he's going to use this to his music as well. Something he can now rap about that'll be true. Like all the gangs do, or all the, rappers and stuff do. Then we have Boogie and his new boo AD, who's beautiful by the way, and Lil Easy and his wifey out here doing salsa. Jojo shows up without Tanice, saying that Tanice said she'll meet him there. And of course, as they're doing the dance, you look at Jojo looking like the lone person. They're not even supposed to be there, just in the corner like an ornament. And not really being able to participate in his, in this little triple date that he wanted his girl Tanice to show up to. Then we get a text from Tanice saying that she couldn't make it, or whatever text she sent him, he got the impression that she's not going to be there. Jojo rushes out, and of course, Easy, as nosy as he always is, goes outside, says, hey man, why'd you rush out? What's going on? Tell me what's going on, because of course in his effort to give people advice, he also wants to know the tea. So Jojo lets him know that there's some issues going on in his relationship with Tanice. He feels like he's not being really paid attention to. He feels a little bit neglected. Why can she come out and come here? Why she stand him up? Easy's trying to let him know about postpartum and her having a baby and the situation and things that she could be going through mentally. And Jojo is looking at the situation, not really hearing what he's saying. Jojo is listening to respond, not listening to absorb. He just wants to go home because he's already on 10, because he feels like she's not even here to do the salsa situation, or she can even show up for him because they hired a babysitter to watch a baby. But maybe she don't want a stranger touching her baby. I don't want a stranger touching my baby. I don't trust you. So, I'm completely on Tanice's side in this situation, because I feel like Jojo needs to have some patience. That baby is still new. Then we have Tahiri going to Palm Beach with Sean and their mom and some family members to kind of go over their wedding, the venue and stuff like that. Sean and Tahiri are arguing about things. Sean is throwing little digs, of course, at Tahiri, because of course he's thinking about the cost of things. He's probably thinking about his business. He's thinking about Tahiri controlling everything. And then we find out that Tyran is not going to come because he's not vaccinated, because they want to protect the grandma and certain people that are at high risk. To add to that, Tahiri hates the sand, but y'all having a wedding on Palm Beach. How you having a wedding on the beach, but you hate the sand? Girl, you make no sense. Then we leave that scene, and we have Jojo and Tanice in bed, with Tanice waking up with a full face of makeup. I don't know if this drama between him and Tanice is legit, or if it's just for show. I'm just going to go with it, saying that it's legit because it's a reality TV. Let's just go with it. But Tanice is waking up with her full face of makeup, and Jojo is mad at her already. And he's mad because she didn't show up at that time at night. And she's telling him that she needs time. Her body ain't right. She needs to get herself together. She needs to, all this stuff that's going on with the baby. And Jojo's not hearing her. Jojo's like basically digging. He's forgetting that she can go into a depression after the baby. He's forgetting all the stuff that she went through when she had the first kid. Jojo is wanting attention from her instead of being a support system and a partner to her in this situation. Like, bruh, sometimes I feel like men need to be the ones to carry the babies and push the babies out. Maybe they'll understand after that. Because I don't think that they'll be able to survive it. I don't think they would even last a week if they were pregnant. They're the ones that have to carry the baby. I just don't. Because in times, it's like they don't get it. They don't get it. It's like you're talking to a complete wall. Anyway, so we have the last scene with Brianna. Brianna is in her house with her baby. And the cops barge into her house. And you hear her screaming. You can't really see anything. Obviously, they can't show everything. But you hear her screaming at the cops, "What are you doing? Get out of here. Don't touch me. Da, 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 da." And then you hear her screaming at her son, "Lock the door." Whatever the case is, I don't know why the cops came into her house in the first place or what happened. We don't know the full story. Maybe y'all know the full story. They didn't show so much in this episode, and I didn't have time to go and Google it and find out more. But the police look like they made a mistake in coming into her house. And whatever it is that she did, obviously she wasn't arrested. She's in the next scene, and she's talking about it, and she's crying about it. It's like that whole no-knock situation that we keep seeing happening. Not that the police is bad, so don't get me wrong. We're not out here going to bash police or anything like that in this episode. I'm just saying that whatever happened to Brianna, you see the pain in her eyes, because I don't think she felt like she did anything wrong enough to deserve that. You could hear what she was telling the police and him telling her, "You're not cooperating." And she's like, "What are y'all doing here? Why are you arresting me?" Like, she's asking questions because she doesn't know what's going on. And they're telling her, "You're not cooperating." If I'm not cooperating, tell me what I'm not cooperating for. You can't just come into my home with my kid, handcuff me, and not tell me why, and then use the excuse of not cooperating. What the hell? So I'm waiting to hear the whole story, the next episode, and what she has to say. But I know that she broke down. She's crying. So it's got to be something that's traumatizing, especially in front of your baby, your kid. I mean, you're not about to put handcuffs on me in front of my children and think that it's not going to traumatize me at all. But that was this episode. It was juicy. I'm happy not to have seen Cree or Savannah's little rotten, spoiled, disrespectful behind entitled as she is. I'm happy not to see Cree making up stories or trying to create drama with Tahiri because she feel just some nonsense. I wanted to see more of Boogie and to hear more about what his situation is, But I mean, hell, whatever it is, it's situation. It is what it is. The next episode that's happening, you're going to see Jojo talking to his family. Tanice is going to be contemplating divorce because she's at her breaking point. I don't want them to divorce. I think they can work this out. It's just a matter of being patient and letting the time pass by. Sam, I'm sick of seeing his face. I feel like every time he's on this show, he does something stupid. I'm over it. I feel like each of you deserve better. It's irritating me to me. Somebody at this point, hell, I can't feel sorry for her. I feel like maybe you just need to learn this type of lesson. You just need to go through with it and figure out what's best for you. Maybe Sam is just gonna be somebody that teaches you. We all go through a heartbreak in our life, one big heartbreak, because we need to learn the type of person we are and learn the type of person that we want to be with in the future. Maybe Sam is gonna be the one to teach Egypt that. Maybe, because Peppa is not a good advice. Peppa doesn't give good advice. She's part of the problem. I'm sorry. Anyway, y'all have a good rest of your day. Look forward to my Love and Hip Hop reunion review. I'm gonna get to it later on today. I hope I do. If I don't, it's because I'm taking care of baby. You guys are gonna have to forgive me. But have a good rest of your day. Happy Sunday, and y'all go ahead and prepare for Valentine's Day tomorrow.